You're standing in a grocery store aisle. 2 brands of cereal, same price, same flavor. Your hand hovers, then freezes. 10 minutes pass. Your chest tightens. Your thoughts spiral. What if you choose wrong? What if there's something better? What if this tiny decision ruins your entire morning? People brush past you. You're not just indecisive, you're trapped. We all hesitate sometimes. But what if making a decision felt like trying to lift a weight that your brain simply refuses to move? Why does the human mind break like this? The condition is called Aboulomania, a rare and extreme psychological disorder characterized by crippling pathological indecision, not procrastination, not overthinking, but the terrifying inability to choose, even when the choice is small, urgent, or necessary for survival. And once you understand how it works, you'll realize this isn't as distant as it sounds. Segment 1. The disturbing origins of indecision. The word Aboulomania comes from the Greek word Aboulia, meaning without will, and that's exactly what it feels like. Imagine your internal compass snapping in half. Historically, severe indecision has appeared in psychiatric case studies dating back to the 19th century. Doctors described patients who could not decide what to eat, what to wear, or even whether to sit or stand unless someone told them. One early case described a man who would stand at his front door for hours, unable to decide whether to step outside. He wasn't confused. He wasn't delusional. He understood the situation perfectly. He just couldn't act. That's what makes this condition so unsettling. The intellect works. The awareness is intact, but the bridge between thought and decision collapses. Early psychiatrists were baffled. These patients could analyze options in exhausting detail. They could list pros and cons. They could predict consequences with chilling accuracy. Yet when it came time to choose, something inside them locked. It was as if their mind was a courtroom with endless arguments, but no judge to deliver a verdict. By the early 20th century, extreme indecision began to be associated with obsessive-compulsive tendencies. Some patients weren't just afraid of being wrong, they were terrified of catastrophic outcomes. Choosing the wrong meal might lead to illness. Sending the wrong email might destroy a career. Saying the wrong word might permanently damage a relationship. The stakes were always exaggerated, inflated, distorted, but emotionally they felt real. Psychiatrists later linked this pattern to severe anxiety disorders and dependent personality traits. Because at its core, Aboulomania isn't laziness, it's fear, a paralyzing, catastrophic fear of making the wrong choice. And when fear hijacks the brain's decision-making system, the simplest options become existential threats. For someone with Aboulomania, life becomes a minefield of what if, and every step feels dangerous. Segment 2, the brain under siege. To understand Aboulomania, we have to enter the control room of the brain. Decision-making is largely governed by the prefrontal cortex, the region right behind your forehead responsible for planning, judgment, impulse control, and weighing consequences. This is your inner executive. Now imagine this system overloaded. Every choice triggers a cascade of what-if scenarios. What if I regret this? What if I embarrass myself? What if I lose something better? What if this changes everything? In a healthy brain, these thoughts are filtered. The prefrontal cortex evaluates the risk, the emotional centers calm down, and you tolerate a little uncertainty. You accept that no decision is perfect, and you move forward anyway. But in Aboulomania, the filtering system breaks down. The anterior cingulate cortex, the brain's conflict monitor, becomes hyperactive. This region is designed to detect mistakes and inconsistencies. In someone with pathological indecision, it lights up excessively, signaling conflict everywhere, even when none exists. At the same time, anxiety circuits, and especially the amygdala, flood the system with threat signals. The amygdala does not care if the threat is a tiger or a text message. It reacts to perceived danger. So when faced with a decision, the brain sends out an alarm. Heart rate rises, breathing shifts, muscles tense, the body prepares for impact. The result? Every decision feels dangerous. Neurologically, it's like pressing the gas and the brake at the same time. The prefrontal cortex wants resolution. The anxiety circuit screams, stop, you want to move. But your brain whispers, wait, something is wrong. Over time, this creates a vicious cycle, because the moment someone avoids making a decision, their anxiety drops slightly. Relief washes in. That relief becomes reinforcing. The brain learns avoidance equals safety, so the person begins relying heavily on others to decide for them. What should I wear? What do you think I should do? Can you choose? Just tell me. Not because they lack intelligence, but because outsourcing decisions reduces anxiety. It's a coping mechanism. However, the more they avoid deciding, the weaker their confidence becomes. The brain's decision muscle atrophies, and soon even trivial choices feel unbearable. In severe cases, the indecision isn't just mental, it's physical. Some patients report sweating when asked to choose, nausea when confronted with options, rapid heartbeat when pressured for an answer, mental blankness and as if thoughts suddenly disappear. The body reacts as if survival is at stake, all because of a choice between A and B. When choice becomes threat, autonomy becomes terrifying. Segment 3, a real-world descent. Consider a composite case often cited in psychiatric literature. A young woman in her mid-20s begins struggling with everyday decisions after a period of intense stress, a breakup, a demanding job, mounting expectations. It starts small. Choosing a restaurant becomes a 45-minute ordeal. Selecting clothes for work results in tears. She stares at her closet as if it's a puzzle she cannot solve. She begins texting friends constantly. Do you think this is okay? Should I cancel? What would you do? Are you sure? At first, her friends reassure her, they help, they decide. But the questions multiply. Soon, every situation requires external validation. Eventually, her work performance suffers. Emails go unsent because she can't decide on the wording. Projects stall because she can't choose a direction. Even minor decisions, scheduling a meeting, picking a font, approving a design, feel monumental. Deadlines pass, anxiety grows, her relationships strain. Partners grow frustrated. They interpret her indecision as passivity or lack of interest. Friends feel overwhelmed by the constant need for reassurance. Inside her mind, though, it feels like drowning. She describes it this way: it's like standing at a crossroads where every path might lead to disaster, so I freeze. That freeze response is critical. When humans perceive overwhelming threat, we fight, flee, or freeze. Freezing is ancient, evolutionary. When an animal cannot outrun a predator, it becomes still, invisible, motionless. Aboulomania is psychological freezing. The world keeps moving. You stay stuck, and the longer you stay stuck, the more life moves without you. In extreme cases, individuals become so dependent on others for guidance that their autonomy erodes. Decisions about careers, relationships, finances, even medical choices are handed over to partners, parents, friends. Some psychiatrists have linked it to dependent personality traits and severe anxiety disorders, where the fear of abandonment and fear of failure intertwine. And here's the dark irony. The more someone fears making the wrong choice, the more their life becomes shaped by other people's decisions. They avoid responsibility to avoid regret. But in doing so, they surrender authorship of their own story. Choice is power. It is how we carve identity. It is how we move forward. And when you can't choose, you don't just hesitate. You disappear into the background of your own life. That is the quiet horror of Aboulomania. Not madness, not chaos, but the slow erosion of will, where the hardest thing in the world is simply saying, I choose. The twist in application. Now here's the uncomfortable part. You probably don't have Aboulomania, but have you ever opened Netflix and scrolled for 40 minutes and unable to pick a show? Have you ever drafted a message and rewritten it 10 times? Have you ever stayed in a bad situation because choosing to leave felt too overwhelming? That flicker of paralysis, that whisper of, what if I mess this up? That's the same mechanism, just on a smaller scale. Modern life has multiplied our options. More choices, more consequences, more comparisons. Psychologists call it decision fatigue. And when anxiety mixes with too many possibilities, your brain can start to short circuit. You hesitate longer, you doubt more, you seek reassurance. Aboulomania is the extreme edge of something deeply human. The fear that one wrong choice could change everything, and sometimes it can. But the deeper truth? Indecision is also a decision. When you don't choose, the world chooses for you. So the next time you hesitate, ask yourself, is this careful thinking? Or is fear quietly pulling the strings? Because there's another psychological force that makes you doubt your own judgment. One that convinces you your memories, perceptions, and instincts can't be trusted. It's subtle, it's manipulative, and it can make you question your sanity without you even realizing it. And that is why you need to watch the next videos.